Hello, everybody. It is John Pollock and Wai Ting here with the post-daily news show for Thursday, July the 14th. Hello, Wai.
Hey, John, what's up?
You know, the usual. Plenty.
As always, yeah, on the penultimate edition of the post-daily news update.
That is right. That is right. We will be presenting our season finale on Friday, so more on that to come. But we have lots of news to dive into. Up the top, we will mention that the latest edition of Rewinded Dynamite is up on the site, where we spent an inordinate amount of time discussing last night's episode of Dynamite. The highs, lows, all in between, so you can go check that out. And as well, tons of fanfare for the release of Rewind Away number 114, covering Drive to Survive Season 1, Episodes 1 through 3, a 2.5-hour dive into F1. And it seems that people have enjoyed the show thus far, so hop aboard the Post Wrestling Cafe and you can see what all the buzz is about. And it is a great time to join the Post Wrestling Cafe.
Yeah, absolutely, because after Drive to Survive, if you're looking for a bit more varied coverage from the usual pro wrestling path, tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, me, WH Park, Nate Milton, and Ahmad Butt will be joining. They will be joining me to talk about Ms. Marvel, Episode 6, the season finale. That is live tonight for all patrons at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then available in the archive as well. So all of this plus G1 coverage, and just announced, John, Death Before Dishonor coverage from Ring of Honor a little bit later on this month as well, all for $6 a month at postwrestlingcafe.com.
There you go. Get in on the Post Wrestling Cafe. You will get all of our G1 podcasts beginning Saturday. There will be 2 shows coming out this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and those will be hosted by Wai Ting with some guest reviewers joining him in Karen Peterson and WH Park. And of course, we will be live Friday night with Rewind to SmackDown. So there's plenty of stuff happening at postwrestlingcafe.com this week and throughout the entire summer. So mark it down. We will get into today's news items coming out of Dynamite. One of the news items from the show was the confirmation that AEW will be going to Chicago and bringing their product to the Chicago faithful and travelers abroad, as they will be doing 3 nights at the Now Arena. They will do a live Dynamite on Wednesday, August 31st, live Rampage on the Friday, and then Sunday, September the 4th, All Out. And it looks like we might be getting a tease of a first ever subway match between Pac and Jade Cargill. All Atlantic TBS unification. I mean, could you imagine? Look at that poster right there. I mean, that would be, if you scan down, a lot of champions in this company, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And
this is not even the Ring of Honor champions. I mean,
yeah, I guess we got the tag belts in there, but yeah, we don't have Gresham. We don't have
STR are technically Ring of Honor champions, but I guess they're big enough stars at this point that you just put them on here. Well, yeah, this is what it looks like. Jericho doesn't have a belt, but he's a big name. So
that's right. We have one non-champion there. So there you have it. So there, the pre-sale is going on today, and WrestleTix noting that all the individual tickets sold out, but there are a lot of seats left in they are doing combo packages for all 3 nights, and the official on sale is tomorrow. So obviously a significant amount of tickets being held off for tomorrow, but of what they have put out there, it's been a strong demand thus far. I don't think anyone is questioning that All Out is going to be filled to the brim, and we'll see if there's relying on these combo packages, if you're going to get just an increase of what you would see on the Wednesday and Friday. But it should be a very big week for AEW business. It's going to be their next big one, because pretty much of the summer we've gone through the big, they went to the Forum, they went to Little Caesars Arena, they did Forbidden Door, and then this summer it's a lot of kind of modest sized attendances they have, and then it all leads into Chicago for 3 nights.
Yeah, I think it'll show that. Despite I think maybe a lot of what we thought about running Forbidden Door so close to this event, I don't think it'll have that much effect. I think 2-3 months time, people are ready for another trip to Chicago, evidently.
I know it's a running joke about Chicago, but folks, the evidence is bared out every single time they run a big show here. This is going to do really well, and is there anything that is forcing them to change this up? I'm not saying you can just do every, multiple pay-per-views event per year in Chicago, but it's a really hot market for them, and people come and they are voting with their dollars that we are fine if you want to stage a show in Chicago 2 months after your last pay-per-view in the same city.
There will come a time, I'm sure, in the future where I think it'll probably be more lucrative for AEW to be traveling around, where maybe at some point they will have, oversaturated this market so much that they'll have incentive, or maybe they'll just have better opportunities elsewhere. But for now, I think as a home base, as a default location of operations, Chicago is fantastic for them.
Yeah. Is Scarborough out of the running? Do you think they'll ever get a Rampage?
Oh, man. Ted Reed might be the closest we'll get.
That might be their best option. All right, on to a very serious news story, and that involves AJ Ferrari, the 2021 NCAA champion at 197 pounds at Oklahoma State, who was part of the inaugural class of the WWE's NIL class. He is under an investigation. This comes after a woman filed a protective order against Ferrari on July the 5th in Payne County Court after accusing Ferrari of making unwanted sexual contact, and stated that it was reported to the Stillwater Police Department, who confirmed this on Wednesday, that Ferrari was accused of sexual assault. It is worth noting he has yet to be charged for this. And it's being investigated by the Criminal Investigation Unit, and then the findings will be reported to the DA's office in Payne County to determine if charges will follow. But in the wake of all of this, he has departed the Oklahoma State wrestling team, and Seth Duckworth of the Pistols Firing blog reporting that him parting ways from the wrestling program was due to an accumulation of issues, but certainly this is in the midst of everything that is happening. You have to imagine this was a contributing factor. It does become a sort of dicey subject way on the side of WWE. Number one, he has not technically been charged yet, and I could certainly see the WWE at the very least wanting to wait until this case is played out. And number two, I think that if it really does show, look at what the press is that the WWE is getting at this point, and then taking action on one and not on the other. It's, of course, two very different individuals in terms of rank in WWE, but it does, it does tie in. People are going to make those connections if, they decide to release AJ Ferrari in the wake of this.
Which two are you referring to?
Sorry, I'm talking about the Vince McMahon case that is ongoing. Here is someone that is accused of many things as well. Mm-hmm. It's just this, not to say it's a direct tie-in, but taking action on one and not the other, there is going to be that certain how you handle one versus how you handle another.
I ask which two you are referring to because unfortunately there are multiple people with involved in these sort of allegations that are under the WWE banner. And at this point, I would almost say that they have a lot of experience, in dealing with issues like these, but that I feel like there's probably a bit of a protocol already set in place. And obviously a lot of it in this situation has to deal with how much they are losing, how much they have invested in the person, and how much how much they know about the story. And every single one is different, of course.
Yeah. Again, he hasn't been charged, and his representative, Derek Chance, did give a statement stating the allegations against AJ are false. It is unfortunate that a student athlete can become a target primarily because of their status as an elite athlete. AJ is cooperating with law enforcement and is confident the truth will come out. He appreciated his time at Oklahoma State, but he and the university mutually agreed a change was appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in situations like these, I have to imagine that they have to wait for some of these findings, something official to come out before they can make a decision. Gable Steveson is another name that was involved in some of these allegations and was so. Please correct me if I'm wrong, John, but what he was involved with was some allegations where it was determined that there was not enough evidence in his particular jurisdiction,
yes,
to charge him. So, I think ideally they would wait for something official like that before making their choice, and not mentioning it if it doesn't need to be mentioned, at least on air or through their press.
Yeah, my impression is WWE will not be taking any action on this until either charges are filed or it's once that, at least that step is taken at the very least. I mean, when you're looking at it, I mean, here's a 20-year-old student still, so it is not like somebody like this is part of your NIL program. It's not as though it's a giant investment that you have in here as well, and sometimes that is going to come into the calculus of WWE making decisions of where they're going to stand when it comes to public accusations and such. But that's the latest on AJ Ferrari. New Japan held their G1 Climax press conference earlier today. 25 of the 28 participants were in attendance, with Tama Tonga, El Phantasmo, and Lance Archer missing it due to travel delays. And we got the photo op, not on the lawn, but we will see. Do you have a short list of best dressed that stand out here? Tom Lawler wore quite the outfit that was accompanied with a bucket hat. And this ensemble that I think certainly...
What is this, a Tetris vest? Wow.
Yeah, Tetris, Scrabble.
Tetris.
Yeah, maybe Tetris. Looks
Tetris
like he has
vest.
maybe like a nod to the...
Tetris denim vest. Wow. Yeah, spectacular.
That is a find. Looks like a bow tie right out of the Earl Hebner collection of 1988 as well, with his referee's... shirt underneath.
And that's got to award him some points already, just in the block.
Yeah. I would say Sonata looked very slick in his blue
as always
outfit there. Tomohiro Ishii just looks like, I mean, the bad guy at the end of the video game that all of his henchmen have been downed and now it's one-on-one with Big Tom. I mean, that man looks something. Juice Robinson looks to be auditioning for Max's older brother in Stranger Things at the end, the one who died. Sorry, spoiler. Yeah,
I think Jay White is looking pretty sharp in the the sort of plaid blue. Shingo Takagi looks great over here. In a three-piece.
The funeral procession is all at the far left.
Oh my God! Look at Zack Sabre Jr. The guy just kind of strolled out of bed, put on some black shorts.
Is the press conference today? Is that it's in 20 minutes? Give me a sec.
Pretty much. So you could tell who's making the effort and who really decides to, maybe make their statements via talking in these press conferences.
So I isolated a few of the comments that they got. Everyone had to go up there and give a speech. Some of them entertaining, some of them, this was very difficult for them.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. got up there. I'm not going to do his voice. I'm usually in a jovial, playful manner at these press conferences, but today I'm bloody irate. Once again, this company is treating me like a dickhead. This is the largest G1 in history, and I'm the winner of the largest New Japan Cup in history. But you're so obsessed with the old guard, want so badly for one of these old bastards to win it again. Well, I'll win the G1 out of spite. You might be thinking that Zack Sabre Jr. versus the leader of the Chode Club, Jay White, would be a strange main event. You're right, but when I win the G1, I won't be waiting until the Tokyo Dome. I don't give a flying shit about baseball. Instead, I'll take my title match in the UK in October when New Japan finally returns. These divs might carry a briefcase like absolute wankers, but I won't. There will be no defenses. I'll go straight to my title match in the UK and win the title. Then this company will be forced to promote me. All the posters will just be a picture of my chin and nothing else.
Wonderful. Beautiful. I mean, for as maybe down as he dresses, I mean, the guy really does his...
Yeah.
It makes up for it in his speeches, doesn't he?
Just two other ones here, and these are brief. Kenta just got up there and said, "Hello, I am Kenta. My favorite foods are yakiniku, sushi, tempura, senbei, yokumoku, Tokyo banana, and dorayaki. I will do my best in the G1."
Says it all.
Pretty simple, but the best one. Do you want to guess who had the best speech of all of them?
I'm going to say Taichi.
Damn, you are on the ball. Taichi gets up. Yeah. Did you read these?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I thought I was catching you off guard here, but nonetheless, Taichi got up there and his message was, "Finally, I got my YouTube channel in the hype video for this. Maybe compared to these guys, I'm not a hot topic in the ring, but out of it, nobody beats the conversation I'll start. Nowadays, you have to be as skilled outside the ring as in it. I'll win this G1, then I'll delight all my subscribers with a special live stream. When I stream me winning this trophy, you know what'll happen? I'll get tons of ad money. a bunch of super chat tips. In other words, I'll make it rain. Naito or Okada, they might say they're money in the ring, but I'll make it really rain for New Japan and Bushiroad on YouTube. So this man, even with the cut that YouTube takes, believes that he is going to bring strong net profits to New Japan through its YouTube channel.
Yes, that is correct. Super chats. I mean, this is I would say probably the first time in G1 history a wrestler has used the threat of gaining super chats as as motivation for his his journey throughout the G1. So we shall see how Taichi does. Anyway, so that's the G1.
We'll go over more of the matches this weekend on Friday's show. WWE has also announced that tickets for WrestleMania will go on sale Friday, August the 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Of course, this being the two-night event at SoFi Stadium on April 1st and 2nd. And yes, there will be a pre-sale opportunity, priority passes available next Friday on July 22nd, but 2 nights away at SoFi Stadium. This will be the formula for WrestleMania going forward. I don't see them going back at this point, but it will be, as always, I think it's going to be, this goes well beyond just how strong WrestleMania is. Like, this is attraction driven when you're trying to do 2 nights, as we saw this past year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Record profits. And I think, in terms of critical response, I would say at this point, like, people are responding more positively to, these shorter 2-night shows than they would have been for 7-hour extravaganza for one.
This year was a very well received WrestleMania on both nights. I think most, thought night 1 was the stronger of the two, but it was generally positive response from the 2-night version. I would say definitely, with a full crowd, it was like the best received of the 2-night experiment after 3 years of it.
And with the current way, the week works out with their television, it makes for a nice compact 4-day event. 5 if they really choose to extend it. What have they done? Are they going to have they done anything on Thursdays in the past now at this point? Did they last year?
Well, this past year they put the Hall of last year, as I recall, it was the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame was after SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm saying the year prior, you had the Hall of Fame spread out, and then you had the 2-night takeover that you had done on like a Wednesday, Thursday. But this year, I don't think there was anything on the Thursday. You did SmackDown with the Hall of Fame, which I think that is the smart play of tacking on the Hall of Fame with SmackDown. I don't think Hall of Fame on its own is it's going to be enough to fill these big arenas that they're booking for a SmackDown.
Yeah. So, of course, we also await the announcements of all the shoulder programming from the independents that are going to be taking place. Is Ring of Honor going to have a presence this year?
I would guess no. I would imagine not. Yeah, that was one of the big things that Tony Khan had talked about, was the fact that show was booked before they had bought the company, and it was kind of fulfilling that show, even though it was WrestleMania weekend. I mean, to me, it would be certainly a change in Tony Khan's philosophy if they were to put Ring of Honor in the WrestleMania home city. If anything, I would be looking at Ring of Honor maybe doing an event Labor Day weekend in conjunction with like All Out weekend on like the Saturday.
Okay, it's an interesting idea for sure. Yeah, as a way to bridge that gap between a Friday Rampage and a Sunday All Out. However, I mean, I feel like at this point, like, Supercard of Honor is so attached to Ring of Honor. I mean, they were there before any of the other people, any of the other independents were. I almost feel like it would be of a shame to not have that Ring of Honor presence for a weekend where, to me, it's as synonymous with the WrestleMania weekend as WrestleMania is.
And they ran against SmackDown in the Hall of Fame, and they did a tremendous number of buys for that pay-per-view. So it wasn't as though you could make the argument that, hey, running on a different weekend, you'll do better. Like, they did pretty well going against SmackDown and the Hall of Fame, but it would just be very much against sort of Tony Khan's philosophy of having any involvement WrestleMania weekend. I think he was very much had to... that was the situation he bought, was the show had been announced and they felt the need to still run that show in that Dallas market. NXT ratings from Tuesday night. It was interesting what we saw here. They did 582,000 viewers and a 0.14 in the 18 to 49 demo. They were down 2% in viewership, and that was mainly because older viewers were down from the week before, which was the Great American Bash special. But 18 to 49 was up 17%, and 12 to 34 was through the roof in comparison to recent weeks. But the big demo was 18 to 34. They averaged 84,000 in that demo, according to Brandon Thurston, which is up 140% from last week. But more interestingly, it's the second highest 18 to 34 number of the year, and it's tied for third among the highest 18 to 34 numbers since 2.0 launched last September. The only ones it's behind are the Halloween Havoc special that did really well last October, the New Year's Evil special at the beginning of the year, and this is tied with that very first week of NXT 2.0 when, you had your most curiosity about what this product was going to be. And let's be honest, this was kind of a run-of-the-mill episode, save for Roxanne Perez challenging for the title. And you can't put all the stock in the world in 1 week and one number, but I would say this was, I completely put this success on that main event because it was the most promoted match throughout the week, and the only thing to me that would jump out above and beyond just a standard week of NXT.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine maybe an increased interest in what people might think would be a title change taking place on the show. Maybe a significant amount of interest in somebody like a Roxanne Perez. This certainly bodes well for somebody like her, to have this type of rating attached to her so early in her WWE run. So we'll see if it can be maintained.
Yeah, and this was 1 week, and there aren't many that you can isolate of the NXT 2.0 run where the mandate was to get a younger audience. That has not been the case for NXT 2.0, but this week, it was the younger audience that propped up the number, and it was the older audience that was, it was down from last week, so it was not enhancing the number in any way, which there was a very interesting story this week in the Wall Street Journal that Nielsen has just done a study about streaming watch time. And as of this past May, 39% of watch time is among those aged 50 and above, and it's outpacing the growth of all other demographics. And this is studied on platforms like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and other services. And for the first time, 50 to 64-year-olds are claiming a larger share of streaming ahead of the 35 to 49 age demographic. And I just find that really interesting that, number one is that, we look at 50 plus as this audience that it is the highest concentration of viewers for WWE programming. But the idea is that it's a audience that they're very much set in their ways when it comes to advertisers, that you are not going to change habits all that much. And it brings up a larger question that, when we are 50, which is shocker, it's not that far away, that are we going to see different attitudes among our generation when we are aging out, that we're not going to be as tied to certain technologies or ways of consuming media, that 50 plus, it's an audience that, I don't think this is where people had planned streaming to be dictated by, and numbers are showing that it's an audience that there is a significant amount getting rid of cable and are moving to streaming, and it kind of goes against the strict idea out there that once you are of a certain age, you're very much just tied to your way of consumption.
Well, I mean, the 50-year-olds of today were the 40-year-olds of 10 years ago, so these metrics have to always slide to account for growth and and also, I mean, my parents knowing how to use Netflix, my parents owning Apple Watches. Who would have expected that? These technologies are just kind of becoming probably, more easier and more convenient for people to figure out. And therefore, you're probably seeing a lot more people, learning how to use Netflix and learning how to cutting the cable, cutting their cord. So it just completely makes sense to me. And I feel like it'll only increase, of course.
Why do you have any guess as to why younger audiences are decreasing when it comes to?
Because there's a whole lot of other shit available for younger audiences to do. I mean, people 50 plus are the people with the time to sit at home and watch TV. whereas people that are younger are probably on TikTok. They're probably spending their time on Twitch. They're probably spending their time on doing a whole lot of other things that at this point, people 50 and above have no idea how to operate. And they're consuming their media in different ways than I think, Nielsen is tracking.
So is streaming dead?
Not at all. No.
No, it's not. All right. Other news and notes, just some quick ones here. Suwama won the Triple Crown title today on the All Japan show, beating Jake Lee, who this guy only had the title for about 3 weeks, and this is Suwama's 8th title reign. Look at that. That's a pretty dominant visual here, as he won the championship. He had last held this back in 2020, and he never lost the title. It was vacated when he came down with COVID. So that was the big title change on the All Japan show. Meanwhile, Noah, their GHC tag titles have been vacated after it was noted that Michael Elgin will be unable to compete on Saturday's card at Budokan Hall. No reason has been disclosed. So his partner Masa Kitamiya will now team with Yoshiki Inamura against Hideki Suzuki and Timothy Thatcher to determine the new champions. And that card at Budokan will also see Satoshi Kojima defending the GHC championship against Keno. Hayata will take on Seiki Yoshioka for the junior heavyweight championship. Keiji Muto versus Kaito Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya's elusive win over Muta. Will that journey continue? I am going to guess yes. I think Muto will. I don't think he's going to kick off his farewell tour with a loss. That's going to be my guess way.
Oh, interesting. I mean, will they have a rematch after this? You would assume maybe he will kick it off with a loss.
We will see. It would be a stunner. I would say that. Yoshinori Ogawa and Chris Ridgway will defend the junior heavyweight tag titles against Eita and Kotaro Suzuki. And one of the other key matches is Rob Van Dam and Masato Tanaka. Knock knock, 1998. Heatwave has contacted you. We'll be taking on Super Crazy and Nosawa Rongai. So this will be the show that will be streaming on Wrestle Universe on Saturday. So it's a very busy day with the G1 kicking off and Noah holding a pretty big card at Budokan Hall this coming weekend. And last thing is Impact tonight on Access TV. We have pretty much a full lineup of matches. We have Honor No More's Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, Kenny King, and Mike Bennett taking on the Good Brothers, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. Josh Alexander and the Motor City Machine Guns against Violent by Design. Mickey James will take on Chelsea Green with Deonna Purrazzo and Mia Yim banned from ringside. James Storm takes on Steve Macklin, and Masha Slamovich will take on Tennille Dashwood. Before the Impact, we'll have Bhupinder Gujar versus Johnny Swinger. Impact's been on a very good roll of late. 2 weeks ago, they had that great match with Frankie Kazarian and Chris Sabin. Like, it's a very consistently well-booked, good matches. Like, it's a really good show, and it's one that I feel is maybe the best example of a U.S. product that the quality is one thing. It's just being able to convince an audience in mass numbers to check out a product. Like the bar is so high when it comes to quality. Everyone's putting out great wrestling, and it's really tough for your non-AEW, non-WWE product to just gain attention in a big way. I think Impact's one of the victims of those, and I feel we always talk about this with Impact. They're not the only ones.
It's a very oversaturated market when you're just, if you're just a follower of one promotion. If you're just a WWE fan, you have more than enough to fill your appetite. If you're an AEW fan, you're getting to the point where you definitely have more than enough to fill your appetite. So, but that said, I think there's always room. There are a lot of wrestling fans, and there are a lot of people that might prefer, the Impact brand and the Impact roster. So, I mean, as long as there's money to be made, then yeah, there's a place for them to exist.
There's a lot of great talent there. And I mean, some of these performers, like a Josh Alexander, if he was in AEW, like maybe he'd be thriving, but maybe he would just be among the cast of phenomenal talents that are in that company that you sort of just see every now and then or are on Dark. It's like, to me, he is just, he's a tremendous performer and one of many in this company that get that platform. So there you go. That is Impact tonight.
We have a couple super chats here, and from the person I think we'll miss the most here on the Daily News Update. He is the official sponsor of the Post Daily News Update, and
I think he was replaced last night.
Maybe for one night only, yes. But Rory is back. Sends an $8 Australian super chat to say, with Mania tickets going on sale soon, we really need the AEW Stadium show soon. After your preview and incredible presser, I'm pumped for the G1. All right.
Do you feel that All Out should have been a stadium show, or not even a stadium show? It's notable, like they are running the Now Arena versus the United Center, for instance, as well.
Yeah, that would be where I would be a bit cautious about overrunning Chicago and attempting to do a stadium level show. I think your stadium shows should be reserved for first time markets, like a Toronto, with a lot of pent up demand. I wouldn't have done Chicago All Out, but Toronto, you can at least consider it. But how confident is Tony Khan?
Yeah, and you need a big main event for All Out, and then 3 weeks later, you need a really big main event. I would say several of them for Arthur Ashe Stadium, because you've got it can't just be a one match show either at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Like you got to do Rampage there. That's a very big show for them to come back with.
Rory also says it would be cool to have an AEW ROH show as part of the Wrestle Kingdom week. Would be a great draw for international fans if possible to get there. Thank you for the support, Rory. Any ROH AEW involvement, Wrestle Kingdom week, you think?
Maybe on the shows themselves. I wouldn't see it that they coming and doing standalone shows themselves. I think that wouldn't necessarily be beneficial for New Japan.
No, you're more likely to see something bigger for Stardom than you would for an international company. There's no incentive at all, and logistically for AEW to
get a roster over there, to get all of your production over there. I mean, that to me sounds like a headache I would not want to be undertaking in a couple of months' time.
Not at all,
and probably wouldn't be feasible. Quite honestly, at the stage of where things are, it's yeah. COVID is still lurking, dude. It's amazing how many people
it's coming back.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm aware of so many people that have been hit recently. It's anyway. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats from Rory, for all of you for tuning in live. Again, live tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Mr. Wai Ting with Nate Milton, Ahmad Butt, and, of course, the incomparable W.H. Park to chat about the season finale of Ms. Marvel. That will be live on the Post Wrestling Cafe feed. So you will get an email today with your link to follow that at 10 Eastern. We're back tomorrow with a double header day. Live at 1 Eastern with the Post Daily News season finale, and then Rewind to SmackDown Friday night. And then we're diving in to the G1. And I'm bolting. I'm getting out of town as fast as I can for 1 week of sanity before it all takes over for the rest of the summer. So
pretty sure, while you're away, I'll be recording every single day. I think I have a show every single day. So not taking any breaks here. But happy to do it, John. I hope you enjoy your vacation.
Well, thank you, Wai. I don't believe I knew that the G1 would be starting this particular week when I forecasted this, but I will be back for the rest of the G1. So I'm missing the first week, and then we'll be around for all the other shows through the end of the tournament. So there you go. That wraps it up. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, and that concludes your Post Daily News Show.